Evolution is nothing more than historical just so storytelling. The stories cannot be tested or falsified. So, evolution is not empirical science. Quote, evolutionary biology, in contrast with physics and chemistry, is a historical science. The evolutionist attempts to explain events and processes that have already taken place. Laws and experiments are inappropriate techniques for the explication of such events and processes. Instead, one constructs a historical narrative, consisting of a tentative reconstruction of the particular scenario that led to the events one is trying to explain. Dr. Ernst Mayr, Ph.D., evolutionary biologist. From Gary Hitch. It is tragic that so many evolutionists, including many Ph.D. evolutionary biologists and paleontologists, still do not even seem to know that they are not doing exact, hard science, but historical science based on their presupposed evolutionary beliefs, rather than on hard empirical evidence. This brings to mind the statement, often attributed to either Ernest Rutherford or Richard Feynman, that there were only two branches of science, physics and stamp collecting. In other words, scientists either do lots of hard math and equations with predictable results. Example, physics, chemistry, or they tend to collect, enumerate, and describe things. Zoology, sociology, anthropology, paleontology, much biology. I'm also reminded of the incident with John Barrow versus Richard Dawkins. Barrow, a Templeton Prize winner, observed to Dawkins, "You have a problem with these ideas, cosmological constants, etc. Richard, because you're not really a scientist. You're a biologist." Biologists have a limited, intuitive understanding of complexity. They're stuck with an inherited conflict from the 19th century, and are only interested in outcomes, in what wins out over others. But outcomes tell you almost nothing about the laws that govern the universe. Nailed it. And to this day, there are no mathematical foundations for evolution. There are no laws of evolution, either. John Herschel called natural selection the law of higgledy-piggledy. Comical, but true. Biophysicist Cornelius Hunter calls evolution the stuff happens theory of origins. No wonder. No human investigation can be called true science without passing through mathematical tests. Leonardo da Vinci. There always has been a stark lack of any mathematical foundations for evolution. This was underlined by an Oxford University job ad for a mathematician, in 2011. In the Oxford job description, under the heading Extracts from the Grant Application to the St. John's Research Centre, subheading Objectives, to construct a mathematical framework, with appropriate theorems, to represent fully the core argument in Darwin's Origin of Species, namely that the purely mechanical processes of inheritance and reproduction can give rise through natural selection to the appearance of design. Already sounding suspiciously like a confession and plea for help. Under the same heading, subheading Summary. Grand theories in physics are usually expressed in mathematics. Newton's mechanics and Einstein's theory of special relativity are essentially equations. Words are needed only to interpret the terms. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection has obstinately remained in words since 1859. And yet, as we see every day, evolutionists are constantly pontificating on evolution as a fact, as proved as gravity. Which, given the extensive mathematical basis and functional equations in gravity, and the lack of such in evolution, is preposterous. Evolutionists simply do not even grasp their own pet theory. Or, as Walter Riemann wrote, evolutionists do not fully understand their own theory and its incredible flexibility. Evolutionary theory is a structural smorgasbord. True, and it ought to be embarrassing for them. But they are, for the most part, perfectly unconscious of this. Historical narratives are not empirical science, and not proof or evidence of anything but the narrator's beliefs. Yet, historical narratives, just so stories, storytelling, are still a major part of all evolutionary science. Increasing numbers of people are coming to realize this. Conclusion. Evolution is nothing more than historical just so storytelling. Evolution is not empirical science. Thanks to Gary Hitch for the text and quotes above. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.